This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Swan. We have Evil Link. And player 2, playing Artanis. We have Sakta. So, let's have a look at the masteries. Both players are playing on brutal difficulty. We have the standard 18, it's not the standard split, but we have 18-20-12 split into the combat drop concentrate beam mastery high. Immortality protocol, 11 points in the structure health. We have a few splits over here. And Artanis has gone for, again, there are just a bunch of splits over here. And you all know what I think about having split points. Unless there's a very good reason for it, points should be allocated into one or the other, but so far so good. So one important thing to note is that one thing too I want to draw your attention to is I see the number 4s over there. This is the difficulty level that both players have selected. That will be a little bit important in the later stage of the game. As the players continue to tech up. We can see production-wise, everything seems okay. Drill on the way as well. Swan is going to be moving over to start taking his expansion, and that is a good play over here. So we have one pylon already down for Artanis. Generally, if you're playing Artanis, what you want to do is a second pylon down for Artanis, which is kind of interesting. I was going to say you want to put down a power field and then put down a gateway and then later on build your pylon, because Artanis already starts at the 200 supply. But we can see there is a fast build on some on the CC over here. For Swan, you want to put down your double blaster billies first. Clear your rocks and then salvage your blaster billies once these rocks are done, and then build your command center fast build with the SCVs. But I think Swan might be using his drill to end up clearing his rocks, which it won't be really too bad, because especially if he's going for the drill upgrade mastery over here, the drill will be able to spawn and start clearing those rocks. I think that's what the plan is. So now we have the factory being fast built for Swan. Notice the focus here is just continuing to buff up the economy, making sure everything is okay. I'm not really sure what kind of build Swan is interested in doing right now, and there's a very interesting positioning over here. And now we have the biggest question. I forgot. This is brutal, huh? So Evil Link says yes, this is brutal difficulty. You know, from the option that is selected over there, you know, in the main screen, it says there's a big thing that says brutal difficulty. Apparently, our player was indeed not really sure what his plan was over there, but he does use his orbital strikes well now. He does end up clearing out that first attack wave, which is good so far. No damage dealt onto the temple, and yeah, now apparently the terror of playing brutal difficulty has struck our player over here, because apparently they were not reading the little brutal difficulty thing that said this is the hardest mode over here. So Swan's using the drill to clear the rocks here, and it's already starting to mine from this expansion. And I think there's one blaster billy that is on the way now. Yeah, so that blaster billy will be helping to clear out the rest of these rocks as well. And now we have a warping of zealots on this side. Again, so far, like, the Artanis player is playing aggressively, which is really good. Once they start pushing into the side, you has to be a little bit careful. With brutal difficulty, compared to hard difficulty, the enemies start dealing a lot more damage at the start of the game, because they start with like level 1 attack upgrades. So we have a few more orbital strikes here. Very nicely positioned orbital strikes. Does end up taking out these units here. And that is all reasonably okay. More zealots that are just left over here. That's so far so good. No damage, like a little bit of damage dealt to the rocks, but handled reasonably well here. So we are dealing with a ground composition here. It looks to be the classic Bioterran, which is okay. You'll probably want to go for mostly ground units over here. Mass Dragoons, I'm not sure what these builds are doing. They seem to be dancing a little bit, but they might actually be... Just try to buff his APM? No, he's not even doing anything. Okay, so we do have a combat drop that gets used on there. I think the combat drop was used to help the ally clear the expansion. Not my personal preference for the use of the combat drop. I would have personally used it to actually start pushing into the side. Artanis should not really have too many problems clearing his expansion. Was warping 2 or 3 zealots and can clear the rocks in time. And now we have a shield overcharge that gets used again. Very efficient use of the abilities for Artanis, which is really good here. And that should end up clearing out this Another set of orbital strikes also get dropped. Taking this hybrid relatively well handled here for Artanis, but yeah, we have few gateways that are being created as well, and Artanis is already taking this expansion. Now the next attack wave is going to be attacking Artanis' base here, but again, Artanis has a few zealots in position. They should be able to deal with the side. Now you can see the zealots these SCVs have already started to build out some bunkers. This is why you want to try and clear as quickly as possible, because this is what happens when you let this mission start to pass without clearing out the side. The SCVs are going to start building static defenses. It's going to be significantly more difficult to clear and push into these entrenchments, especially when the Void Thrashers spawn. Now we have a Flaming Betty that has been dropped here for Swan. Swan will be able to clear out this attack wave. These medics are going to be trying to run away, and these medics will get picked off and be killed off as well. But now the next attack wave is on the way, and there is a bit of a problem here. There are a few Warbans of Zealots now, and Swan has put down a Thor, and we might be doing a meme build over here. But now the first Void Thrasher has spawned, which is going to be starting to attack this temple. Temple is going to be taking some damage, so it'll be the commander's best interest to start clearing out this side. So there is a solar bombardment that gets dropped on this Void Thrasher. Personally, not by my preferred use again of this solar bombardment. I normally delay my first solar bombardment a little bit later so I can deal with with the attack wave that spawns on this side. Again, it's really a matter of preference over here. Using cooldowns as effectively as possible is also important. So if you do want to keep your cooldowns on cooldown, there's no real fault there. And now we see the legendary 3 Stargate Artanis, and I think, is he going to be going for a Mass Phoenix? No, he's putting down a Fleet Beacon, so you guys know probably what's coming up now. And now we have the first double wave that's dropped on this side. So we have a combat drop that will end up clearing out this side. Unfortunately, Artanis is only interested in dealing with the Zenith Stone, and this attack wave is already on the ramp here, and will start to attack Artanis a little bit, unless it makes a beeline for the rest of these units. So now this Stargate is going to be taking a little bit of damage, and I really don't understand how this AI works. Like they want to get the Nexus, I think. Now there's a weapon of Stealth. These Stealth will be able to clear out this. The units are all stuck in that choke point here, which is a bit unfortunate. And now these units are... oh, there's a Pulse Cannon that get dropped from Swan to deal with that side. Swan is hyper aggressively pushing down this lane now. They just clear out the side. Might end up Swan camping this side as well. And now the next attack wave has spawned. This attack wave is going to have some hybrids. Swan does not seem to have an army that is ready to handle these hybrid attack wave that's coming up. And Artanis is definitely not. There are a bunch of hybrids that will be chasing him. And yeah, this hybrid is going to start attacking these rocks over here. There's one random science vessel that gets moved on here. The science vessel might end up getting picked off on from this missile turrets over here. There's another marine here that's also aggro shield overcharge that gets dropped here, but that is just to be able to deal with this side. A few phoenixes have been warped in, but these phoenixes are not going to be able to deal and lift up with that hybrid. And now that science vessel actually got away, which is kind of confusing. But yeah, the phoenixes do end up lifting up the marauders, and now there's a weapon of zealots to go and deal with the rest of these units over here. And again, you can see there's a focus down on the drill onto this hybrid. Hybrid ends up being cleaned up. But Swan is not out of the woods yet, because there is an attack wave that is coming up here. And now there's another attack wave that's coming up for Artanis, and Artanis is going to be having a little bit of a harder time dealing with this. There are only 2 phoenixes in the mix. You can actually, one of the fun builds you can do actually, if you're up against a full ground composition, is go for Mass Phoenix on this map. And basically what happens is you just lift up the full attack wave and just kill it through the phoenixes. It's kind of a fun build you can do. But yeah, there's another attack wave here now that's come up, and they are going to try attacking some of these phoenixes. What are the units lost here? 27 zealots have been killed off by this attack wave, and it doesn't seem that these units are going to stop now, and especially because now Amon's units do have stim. They have lots of other nasty upgrades, but he is able to hold onto the side, and Swan, with his army of Thors, has been able to deal with this. But now there is another attack wave here, and there's only one Flaming Betty, and that Flaming Betty is not going to do anything. And these units now are going to start attacking Swan's base here, which is going to be a bit of a problem. A bunch of herps on this side. Is it endless waves? No, it is not endless waves. It is not like the campaign. It is very, very well. It is a timed mission. So far, the temple seems to be doing okay. 2,900 HP, so only 100 damage done on the temple, which is actually above average considering the stage of the game. Sometimes the Void Thrashers tend to deal a little bit extra damage. into the temple here. And usually the first attack wave is the one that normally deals a lot of damage, so yeah, so far so good. There are a bunch of siege tanks now that has sieged up and starts shelling the allied commander's forces. Few Goliaths as well in the mix here, but I think the science vessels are going to be able to keep this alive, except for that hybrid that is poking away on those Goliaths over here. Pick up on the Goliaths, just take the damage, take the heat off of them. And this hybrid is just going to try and get a little bit more damage, but not before the Thors kill it off. Now have another bunch of phoenixes. Swan already starting to put down some more static defenses for his ally to help his ally out, and now there is another attacker that is going to be moving onto this lane over here with a Void Thrasher on this side. There is a solar bombardment that gets dropped over here. Army of phoenixes with the solar bombardment ends up taking out the Void Thrasher, and over here Swan has cleaned up that attack weapon. You can see the bunker line has been moved forward now as a result of the commanders not pushing to the side, so I think Swan might want to start pushing here as well, just clearing out these bunkers and just make the later stages of the mission a little bit easier when the Void Thrashers start to spawn a little bit deeper into the enemy bases over here. So you can see here the drill is just being focused down onto the side of the SCV, repairing that bunker. And Swan is going to be starting pushing in. We now have a large warping of some Tempests, and now the next drop attack is going to be coming in on this side. But it does not appear that Artanis is looking at that drop attack. He wants to go for this bonus objective, which is okay. And Swan is on here. Okay, he's noticed it now. He knows now there's an attacker that's coming up, and these floating berries are not going to be enough. There's a pulse cannon that gets dropped, and it's up pretty much one-shotting the units that are there on this side. But that is not the full attack wave. There's a few more units that is left on this side, and now there is a nuclear launch detected, which needs to be addressed over here. I don't know if that is going to happen. The nuke is getting closer, the nuke is getting closer, the nuke is getting closer, and boom! Down goes the nuke onto Artanis' army. Artanis was actually looking at that while that was happening as well, which is kind of interesting to note. And now there's a concentrated beam that gets dropped. That concentrated beam was unfortunate because there is, I think, another drop attack that might be spawning at some point, and that concentrated beam is much more fitted for dealing with the drop attacks. But Swan is pushing in here, wants to clear out this enemy base to make sure he doesn't get nuked anymore, which is very, very important as well. And now there's another drop attack here. We'll end up taking out the Flaming Betty and some of these missile turrets as well. The missile turrets have no anti-ground attack, unfortunately, and that missile turret ended up going down. Artanis does have his army of Tempests, but all that is left is an army of Marauders over here, and they are going to start attacking this temple now. And the next Void Thrasher has spawned on the top lane, and there are no armies in position. So Artanis has realized he has to go and get the Void Thrasher with his army of Tempest, so he's going to be moving into here. And we have the Goliaths as well. They're being unloaded with the Thor. And we'll start pushing into this enemy base here. Again, this enemy base was not completely cleared at the start of the mission, so there are going to be some enemy units, and there will be a lot of static defenses on this side from bunkers and whatnot. But it should not be too difficult to deal with. You can see the siege tanks as well from the back line that will be shelling these enemy forces here. And there's a siege tank at the back there that seems to not be noticed. The Void Thrasher's splash attack does end up hitting the army units over here, but again, there are a good number of science vessels that are going to be keeping this thing alive, and our Swan is going to continue pushing through now. And now there's another attack wave that has spawned on this lane. The combat drop gets dropped onto this attack wave, stunning these units, and the rest of this should be cleaned up reasonably okay here by Swan. Swan has a decent number of forces, but at the moment Swan is supply blocked. But now Artanis will have to deal with his side, and that might be a bit of a problem. There are a few hybrids over here that will be spawning, but these Tempests should be able to take this hybrid out without too many problems. There is now a Plasma Blast into this hybrid Dominator on this Tempest, but Artanis' Destroying Shell keeps us alive. Too many problems, and this hybrid Dominator down. But now there is a large number of ground forces that are here, and none of these ground forces are actually able to hit the units at the top there, which might be a little bit of a problem. And now some orbital strikes come down for Artanis, which is good use of the orbital strikes, but now these ground forces have not been cleared as a result of that though, so they are going to end up taking out these static defenses that Swan has put down. And so far so good. This mission is a complete slugfest. Swan has lost a lot of the turrets here, but 40 zealots have gone down as well on behalf of Artanis. So there's one more attack wave now that is coming up from this side. Swan has completely cleaned out this enemy base. He can leave this engineering bay, but he wants to do an all clear, which is really good. Artanis wants to go and deal with this bonus objective here, which is okay. but now we have also a concentrated beam that gets dropped from Swan. Just give him a little bit more time to get into position here, and now we have the drop attacks that are going to start spawning. And unfortunately, there are no enemy units over here to deal with this, and now we have a Warband of Tempest. This is all okay, but a Warband of Tempest against an army of Marauders and Firebats. These Firebats are just going to start aggroing this temple, and this temple is taking a lot of damage right now. It is down to 890 HP, and now the next attack wave has also spawned on this side with another drop attack on this side as well. There's a few Phoenixes on here, but now this temple, there's another drop attack as well on this side now, and that is where the problems are starting to spawn. There are a lot of siege tanks as well, but now there's an emergency pulse cannon that gets dropped, and now there's an army of Marines that are here dealing a little bit of damage. A few raids coming out from Swan as well, which is an interesting tech choice. And now we have a nuke that is getting dropped onto this side from one of the ghosts as well. And that is probably going to end up taking out some of these enemy forces over here. Temple is now at 739 HP, and there is a nuke that gets dropped, and boom, down goes a nuke. The SCVs keep staying alive because of the Artanis' Guardian Shell, but now there are a lot of enemy forces that are being they're starting to push through here. They're getting very, very close to the temple, which might be a bit of a problem because the allied commandos do not really want to lose that temple. Temple's already a very low HP, 700 HP left there. And I think for the most part, all is okay. This entire drop attack has been saved, or handled, but now there is going to be double Void Thrasher spawns, and there are going to be triple attack waves that will be coming up on all three lanes. Commanders will have to try and deal with that in no time. We are almost there. Trust in the warrior next to you and victory will be yours. And yes, they are putting their trust in the warrior next to them. This might be a bit of a problem. So Swan wants to try and do the bonus objective, but the Void Thrasher has spawned, and these shots are going to whittle down the temple's HP a little bit because both these commanders are not in position. So we have a solar bombardment onto this side. This catches out the attack wave and will deal a good amount of damage to the Void Thrasher. But over here now, there's another attack wave that has made its way. There's a combat drop that gets dropped from Swan, but these Void Thrashers are still hitting the temple. Temple is now down to 600 HP, and yeah, there's no engagement onto the. They're both trying to focus down this bonus objective, which is a bit of an error over here. They're playing it really, really close now. Temple is now down to 450 HP with these Void Thrasher shots. This Void Thrasher now has de-aggroed to the temple and will start attacking Swan's army, but Swan is also starting to take a little bit of something over here now. I think there might be a ghost over here. Might be sniping some of these SCVs. And now that Void Thrasher is still not taken out, and Artanis will have to go and deal with that in the process. There are a bunch of ghosts that are over here now, but they have run out of energy, so they will get focused down by the drill. Temple is now down to 300 HP, and again, there are lots of ghosts in these bases here as part of the attack wave. Spawn. Hybrid Dominator does spawn over here, does get cleaned up by Swan's army. But over here now, Artanis' army has been slightly delayed and pushed back due to Amon's forces that are being spawned on here, which is going to be causing a few problems because that Void Thrasher is still dealing damage to the temple, and there is only 200 HP left onto that temple, and this is going to be really, really close now as the Swan's army, as Artanis decides, you know what, I'm just going to start attacking this Void Thrasher now just to force it to de-aggro. Now the next set of enemy forces have spawned over here, but Swan has to deal with, but Artanis has to deal with the site and deal with his Void Thrasher. Temple is now down to 83 HP, and now there is a nuke on Swan's base here with another set of attack waves that's coming up. And this might be a bit of a problem. There's a pullback on the SAVs for Swan because you cannot afford to do anything else, and there's a nuke over there that does end up landing on this side. Over here, there is now another attack wave that has reached the ramp. Going to start attacking Swan's army, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Another nuke onto this side. Lots of Marines are going to start attacking Swan's production, and the temple is going to get very, very close now because there's going to be a huge nuke onto this that will end up clearing out all of the enemy structure, all of the Swan structures on the side. That's all Swan's production. Now the enemy forces are going to start making their way over here as well. Artanis is out of position, and those Marines will start attacking this temple if they are not paying attention. This is a complete slugfest. They just have to hold for just a little bit longer, and that is the temple actually saved with 80 HP left. That is GG.